order to meet some ends that may not be attainable today. So that distinction, and also this issue of capitalism. So capitalism, I think, was varied throughout. A lot of folks talked about distribution, fair distribution throughout. A lot of folks talked about the way in which the state the interest of the state are bound up with corporations, and so therefore they see a kind of, the state is one entity, and sort of capitalism sort of exists, and the question is, can capitalism not influence the state, which I think is a particular political imagination about how the state functions. Other folks talked about the encroaching upon democracy, and I think that, if I'm not mistaken, the way in which capitalism actually, because it is so, because it reproduces inequality, it actually obstructs democracy. And then Chris, brought in a historical memory of the early 20th century in the Second International, which is a very specific idea of capitalism, and I would argue it's the abolition of socially necessary labor. And these are actually very different types of political imaginations, meaning very different types of politics would come from arguing that capitalism is one thing or another. And I'm curious about how these are interrelated, or how one imagines them to be a force. And last, I think, which was how we started the panel, it's about building community within Occupy. The idea being that we can show by example, by sort of being the change that we want to see, the communities that are arising within these Occupy movements are the societies that we would want to live in. And I would, again, I think that this is bound up with the issue of capitalism, but I would want to raise the prospect of, can one actually create the society that one wants to live in within the society that we exist in? Is that possible? Is it about different attitudes towards each other, or are there